Microphone check. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to. I had to do a mic check real quick to make sure we're good on the audio. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I hope that everyone is having a safe Memorial Day weekend. And I don't know, I think a lot of people are live streaming right now. So I know like a lot of people have overlapping streams that support each other. So if I happen to be live streaming at the same time that some other people that are in the space are live streaming that I really rock with, I'm sorry, but it's storming here in Texas, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get to do this stream later, and I really, really wanted to do it and get it out the way. So yeah, there's that. So shout out to the chat room. Hello, Build a Bunker. Beretta Ballerina. Hello, sis. Thank you for joining me. Jerry Poor. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to you all. Um, for the sole purpose of fair use today, I'm going to be giving some commentary and some thoughts about an interview that I came across from 2019 on Joe Biden's podcast featuring Nicki Minaj, and I think there were two other panelists or interviewers that were actually a part of the podcast or worked for the podcast or something like that. I don't know. But I was going through different clips and different excerpts, and I thought it was very interesting. I thought it would make for good content because it sort of touched on a lot of the things that I've been touching on in my recent live streams and videos concerning online cyberstalking, bullying, harassment, and public figures and what they go through on YouTube, and small content creators and mega stars are kind of saying the same thing about cyberbullying and stalking and harassment and different things like that. So I thought it would make for good content, especially being that we have the whole Kwame Brown situation, and I guess people have an issue that he's using his voice or defending himself against certain, I don't know. But I want to kind of expound and go into some excerpts and some clips that I put together from that interview. And this is all for the sole purpose of fair use. My intent is not to infringe on anyone's rights or violate anyone's copyright law or guideline. So I think that I have a majority Black audience that follows me. So I thought it would be important too, because I think when we start speaking about things like mental health and wellness and things like that, there's a huge stigma in the Black community surrounding that. And I wanted to kind of rant about that too, because I don't think it gets enough attention. I know I've talked about it in the past. I've held streams about it and I've done videos about it, but I don't think they really get a lot of views like that. Hell, this stream probably won't get any views, but I don't care if it gets 1 view, 2 views. I don't care if I only have 1 person in the chat. I'm going to talk and I'm just going to say what I have to say, because I think that it's important for it to be said, because more people in Black spaces and Black social spaces online need to speak up about it, because there are people that are getting bullied just for speaking about mental health and mental wellness, and people don't take it serious until someone slits their wrist or until an accident happens or someone takes a life. And I felt like with my military experience, my military background, and having worked in the past with I'm sorry, I'm so nervous right now. I don't know, I'm so nervous. But I worked in the past with crisis outreach with military veterans, and I've seen a lot of stuff as a military vet that really broke my heart. So after I cut off working in that area, I kind of wanted to switch fields, because it's a lot to process. So I felt like, well, I still want to help people, so maybe I could incorporate the content into my channel some way. So that's what kind of inspired me to start talking about it on YouTube. So Build a Bunker said he's a Black male. Okay, well, thank you for joining me, Build a Bunker. I don't think I've ever saw you here in this chat, so thank you for being here. I really appreciate you know, participating in the chat room. Thank you so much. Oh, you're watching the playoffs? Oh, well, good luck to all the sports bettors out there, but I got to get on with the stream. You know, the show must go on. 1 person, 2 person, it doesn't matter. So the first thing that I want to kind of get into, I want to say something before I start. I don't think that anyone should be bullied into silence or bullied into speaking out about any issue that they're having on social media. I don't care if you're a small YouTuber. I don't care if you're a huge YouTuber with millions of followers. I don't care if you're a megastar or a D-list celebrity, whoever you may be. I think when we're when we put ourselves on public display and people are consuming our content or our videos or whatever, no matter your level of notoriety, or if you want to use the word clout or whatever, I don't think that anyone should be bullied into silence or be persecuted or feel like they can't speak out or have a voice, because the main people who are persecuting you did not give you that fucking voice to speak out. The main people and spectators that want to tell you when you should speak out, how you should feel, or how you should react, you know, I think that there's a culture of shaming that goes on YouTube, especially on Black YouTube, when it comes to people having feelings. And a part of the shaming language is people are now using this I think versus I feel shaming language to shame people out of having a voice. First, I thought it was just people shaming folks for having feelings, or shaming people for talking about how they feel, because supposedly if you have feelings, then you can't be logical and think at the same time. That's not fucking true. I know a lot of emotional people, but they're level-headed and they control their emotions. But we have a culture of shaming on YouTube and a stigma surrounding people saying the word I feel before a sentence, or someone saying how something made them feel, as if you're not human and you're not supposed to feel. You know, it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry and get upset. It's about how you control your emotions. And I'm going to incorporate that into this stream as well, because it needs to be talked about. And Nicki Minaj touched on a lot of great points in that interview, and I felt it so necessary because in my last video, I took an excerpt from an interview with Beyonce when she was kind of expounding on the idea that people don't see public figures and celebrities and athletes or whatever as humans. And when they're consuming something that you're putting out for the public to see, they don't judge you. They can't separate the artist from the human. It's like, instead of them looking at your artwork or your music, or, you know, seeing how you perform so well in a movie, they would rather judge you and critique you as a person. And it makes it hard for them to consume your content because they're so focused on judging who you're dating, or judging, you know, what you wore, or judging how you responded and reacted. So it's like they disassociate you with the process of being a human, or being depressed, or getting emotional. And like, for example, like the paparazzi will see a random celebrity out and they'll get a really bad shot of them with an angry look on their face. And then it'll hit the tabloids and people will immediately take the image and run with it. And it's like, they'll make up all sorts of stories and try to say, oh, she just broke up with her boyfriend and we saw her out and she happened to have this weird look on her face. She's crying over her boyfriend. No, maybe she's not crying. Maybe she's hot. Maybe the sun is shining in her face and she doesn't have shades on, so she's squinting her eyes. Or maybe she's fucking cramping because she's having her period. She's PMSing. You know, little shit like that. So I'm going to get into these little nuances, and I'm going to talk about and expound on from my experience, because I can speak on it as a small YouTuber, and as a person that has endured a lot of bullying on this platform, cyber stalking, harassment, you name it. And I'm going to get into a little bit of that. But I keep having to reiterate this, and I have a soft spot for this topic because I have celebrities in my family. I have professional athletes in my family, and I see the things that they go through as musicians, as athletes and stuff. And y'all can go back in my archive, and I'm always saying how I would never want to be famous because I don't want to lose normalcy. I could not imagine going out to eat or going shopping and not being able to really enjoy my moments with my family and friends and stuff, because people want autographs and want to take pictures, and everyone always wants something from you. And if you don't give it, you're the worst person in the world. So I'm gonna talk about all this stuff. Queen of the South, what's up? Y'all coming through? What's up? I thought I gave you a wrench. Whoever came through, girl, I have not seen you in forever. How are you? Cheers. Are y'all sipping on anything tonight? I got me a sparkling wine, of course, and I mixed it with, this is basically a mimosa. I have a mix of cold pressed cranberry and orange juice. Is really good. But my nerves are like, I don't know why I'm so nervous, as if I haven't done this 1,000 times. But I want to read whoever's comment. Let me go to my comments. Please bear with. whoever says, especially as a black woman, 1 minute you're told black women need to be more vulnerable. The next minute, the same people criticize me when I say I feel. Girl, you hitting on what I was gonna get into. I'm gonna get into all of that, and I'm about to get into my first excerpt actually. And I don't know how this is gonna go. This can go really, really good or really, really bad. This is my first time doing a playing any kind of like official audio from a podcast of any sort. So y'all pray for me. I hope this goes well. But I don't see any reason to delay. I'm just gonna get right into it. Hi, Josiah. Thank you everyone for tuning into the stream. I'm gonna get into the first clip, and I'm gonna get into my points about that afterwards. So let's go ahead and get into the first excerpt, you guys.
That's my favorite show.
It's not cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. Let me tell you something. You might laugh and say it's cool, but when it's a bunch of celebrities out here taking fucking drugs and committing suicide and killing themselves, it's not fucking cool. It's not fucking cool because you niggas think because it's not on you when the heat is not on you. Of course it's cool. If you felt the heat, it would not be fucking cool, my nigga.
Nikki, I agree.
It would not be cool, my nigga.
If we have ever wanted you to harm yourself, then I want to be the first to apologize.
You missing the point. You missing the point. It's easy for you to know. It's easy for you to hide up under this fucking great America and social media and say you wouldn't care this and you wouldn't care that. I had so many people tell me that, and as soon as they had the fucking spotlight on them, they was ready to slit their fucking wrists. So don't you ever fucking tell me what to do until you walk a fucking mile in my fucking shoes, my nigga.
It's tough.
Period.
It's tough being around.
Period.
This is a whole different point of everything that I didn't even bring up or
You will
say.
never know what it's like.
I'm not saying
to constantly be lied on, to constantly be bullied, to constantly be attacked. You would never.
I
and
know.
still have to get in the fucking studio and write your own fucking raps and deliver every fucking time. And be successful time and time again after 12 fucking years. You will never know how that fucking feel, my nigga.
I agree with you. I'm not saying that at all.
You ever tell me I shouldn't defend myself? Niggas, you out your fucking mind?
No, you
Nick,
can
I was saying,
unless you walk a mile in my shoes, you will never know what the fuck that shit feel like.
Saying
That's my favorite show.
It's not.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, that excerpt was from Joe Budden's podcast from a 2019 interview that they did with Nicki Minaj. And yeah, it's not cool to slander people. I didn't know that he said that she was on drugs, but I'm gonna get into that too. Basically, during the interview, Joe Budden asked Nicki Minaj, does she think that she's responsible for the Nicki Minaj hate train being created, and does she take any responsibility for that? And she said no. And I don't blame her, because you don't need to be responsible as an adult for what another adult does. People should be responsible for the things that they say and do and the slander that they project against other people. So no, I agree. It's not her fault. You know, I've been through the same shit on this very platform. And so Rory, which is the Rory, which is the white panelist that you see right here. I'm kind of having a delay with my graphics here, but we're gonna work through it. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick so y'all can see. I had to take a screenshot from the program. Okay, so that's not gonna work, but I'm just gonna talk. But so basically, he asked Nicki Minaj. He told her, he basically, you're saying that you're not responsible for the Nicki Minaj hate train being formed, but when you respond to rumors and allegations or whatnot, you add to the madness or whatever. And that was pretty much her response, and it infuriated her and infuriated me too, because we all know how a lot of times on this platform, we can even see in these social spaces on YouTube, people are going to persecute you if you speak up and defend yourself. People are going to persecute you if you just say nothing and remain quiet. But either way, whether it's true or not, let's say that's true. Let's say that, yeah, if you speak up, it's going to add to it. It's always going to add to it, whether you stay quiet or whether you stay silent. Why? Because people, first of all, don't give a fuck about the story, whether you do something or not do anything. People are going to take anything you do and run with it. But it doesn't make it okay for people to slander you and to lie on you and to just take false just to take rumors and run with it, because it creates more rumors and you don't know the damage that you're doing to someone. And I'm also going to get into the envy and jealousy and the hate that people have for public figures that are able to garner an audience, whether you're a megastar, whether you're a small YouTuber. There is a deep-seated, morbid type of envy and hate. It is deep that people have on this platform for people that are able to draw a crowd or appeal to a crowd or appeal to people, whether it be your personality, whether it be something about the way you look. Maybe it's you have a certain hair texture or eye color, or you have a certain personality, or you speak a certain way. You know, those things that are innate characteristics that make us who we are. Those things that you can't pay for. You have people that have a strong, it's so strong, it's morbid, like it's evil. It's an obsessive type of envy and hate that people have on this platform for public figures, you know? And I think sometimes people get lost in the different privileges and things that celebrities have or that they gain from being celebrities, that they lose compassion for them because there's an envy there. And Nicki Minaj also talks about that during the interview. And I want to go into that and kind of expound on what she was saying. I want to talk about people that have made a sport out of cyberbullying, stalking, and harassing random people on this platform. And this isn't anything that's directed at the beefing sector or the roasting sector, because they have their issues with each other that have led up to that whole space being a sector on its own. So this is in no way, because I have veteran women in that space that have supported me from day one. And so this is no knock on the roasting sector or the beefing sector, because they have issues with each other. That is why they have to do what they do. I want to talk about when it goes too far on this platform and when you target people unprovoked. When I speak about cyberbullying, stalking, and harassing and things like that, I'm mainly coming from a point of view of someone that doesn't bother anyone, someone that gets attacked unprovoked, unwarranted, because they're just, I don't know, in a chat room or minding their business. You know how you can be in a chat or be minding your business or whatever, and just because you're affiliated or associated with a certain channel or have a wrench on someone's channel, you get attacked just for being in their chat, showing them support. I'm talking about those situations when you just talk, when you have these people who want to call themselves cyber bullies and cyber stalkers and harassers, when they target people just for the hell of it, unprovoked. This person has done nothing to you, but you're going to continue to make videos about them. You're going to continue to talk about them, troll them, stalk them, harass them, create all these weird ghost accounts and troll accounts to basically fuck with them when you feel like it. I'm talking about those individuals. Okay. I want to make a point too, because I'm also going to address the strong black woman thing. And thank you to whoever for making that comment, because I want to address that real quick. When it comes to black women and this whole being strong thing, listen, black women are allowed, first of all, we don't have to be strong at all times. We are allowed to have feelings. We're allowed to process trauma. It's not our job to be the fucking backbone of the world. It's not our job to stand in front of a bullet for every fucking body because everyone thinks that we're strong. And we don't have to be strong. We can be weak too. We're human. Okay? So never let someone success shame you or make you feel bad for being successful or having things or creating a beautiful, secure life for yourself. That is what you're supposed to do. You're an adult. And I think that because I was on a podcast one day and a woman was asked what she does for a living. And she wasn't putting it out there like, oh, I'm a PhD. Oh, I make this amount of money. She was just asking a simple question, what she does for a living. And so one of the guys responded and was like, oh, you a strong black woman. Oh, you Miss Independent, huh? Woman, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. If you are successful, it's because you're successful and you're an adult, and that's what adults do. That's a part of adulthood. Why does it have to be used as a weapon against black women to make to feel bad for being successful? Is it because her success makes you feel insecure? Is it because her success makes you feel small or less than because you don't have as much as her? You haven't achieved as much as her? Why does it have to always be used as a weapon? And why, because a woman is successful or has it all, is she always expected to constantly be strong? Why can't a woman, why isn't she allowed to be human? Why does she have to be treated like she's some fucking Superman or superhuman? So because she has it all, because she has her life figured out, because she's successful, that means that she can't have a moment of weakness. That means that she can't have depression sometimes. That means that she's not allowed to be human or experience emotion or be treated in a delicate manner. So because she's successful, that means that she may not need someone to be strong for her, or she's not worthy of being treated like a woman. That's what that means, right? Welcome everyone that's getting to the stream. This stream is not going to go in any particular, I'm going to kind of be all over the place because I am nervous, and this is just how I choose to communicate right now. But I just had to address that because let me go back to the whoever's comment. Because I believe that she made a great point about that. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna tell you something. It doesn't matter how fucking strong a woman is. It doesn't matter how successful she is or how accomplished or achieved she is. She can still be, her vulnerability should still be respected. Period. Her sadness, her depression, whatever it is that she's going through, if she's processing a trauma, if she's just sad, if she's just in a bad mood because she's PMSing, that still deserves to be respected. She's a fucking human being at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter. Just because a person has it all together doesn't make them any less human than a person that doesn't have it all together or that is not as successful. Just because, so we're now going to judge and measure a person's humanity based on material possessions or an annual income or material things and shit like that, superficial shit. So because I own a mansion in a hill and I own 10 luxury foreign cars, and I'm set basically for the rest of my life, that means that my vulnerabilities should not be respected. That's what that means basically. Because that's what, when we say things like that, that's basically what you're saying. Oh, she got it all. She don't need to be respected. She good. She got it all figured out. No, she's a human too. She's successful and she has these things and she's built a great life for herself and her accolades, accomplishments, achievements, or whatever. But that doesn't make her any less human. A person can have as much perseverance as in their life as they want, but when life happens to you, and it should be respected, period. It should be respected at all costs. So when it comes to what is the next point that I want to get into, because I do want to play another excerpt. If you're just now tuning into the stream, welcome. I want to get into this mental health thing, but I want to play that clip again because there's another point that I wanted to make about that clip. So let me go ahead and go back. I want to talk about this.
That's my favorite show.
It's not cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. Let me tell you something. You might laugh and say it's cool, but when it's a bunch of celebrities out here taking fucking drugs and committing suicide and killing themselves, it's not fucking cool. It's not fucking cool because you niggas think because it's not on you when the heat is not on you. Of course it's cool. If you felt the heat, it would not be fucking cool, my nigga.
Nicki, I agree.
It would not be cool, my nigga.
If you think that we have ever wanted you to harm yourself, then I want to be the first to apologize.
You missing the point. You missing the point. It's easy for you to know. It's easy for you to hide up under this fucking great America and social media and say you wouldn't care this and you wouldn't care that. I had so many people tell me that, and as soon as they had the fucking spotlight on them, they was ready to slit their fucking wrists. So don't you ever fucking tell me what to do until you walk a fucking mile in my fucking shoes, my nigga. Period.
It's tough being around.
Period.
This is a whole different point of everything that I didn't even bring up or
You will never know what what it's like.
I'm not saying
to constantly be lied on, to constantly be bullied, to constantly be attacked. You would never and still have to get in the fucking studio and write your own fucking raps and deliver every fucking time. And be successful time and time again after 12 fucking years. You will never know how that fucking feel, my nigga.
I agree with you. I'm not saying that at all.
You ever tell me I shouldn't defend myself? Niggas, you out your fucking mind?
No, you
can I was saying,
I'm with Nick.
Unless you walk a mile in my shoes, you will never know what the fuck that shit feel like.
I'm not saying.
So there. And this also is another point that I also wanted to reiterate as to why, you know, consumers of content, when it comes to celebrities and public figures, they don't see you as human because they don't put themselves in your shoes. They don't think about how it would feel if it were them that was getting constantly attacked, constantly bullied or ridiculed or persecuted for either a fucking opinion or for just being affiliated with someone or whatever. They don't think about that. They don't think about stuff like that. They don't see content creators, celebrities, they don't see you as human. I even said that recently in someone else's chat. I don't know the whole background story about the situation that's going on with Kwame. Welcome to the stream team memes and D-Style Boxing. Everyone, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me. But there's something that happened with him, and this is not me supporting him or being against him. I'm just using this situation to make a point. Supposedly there was something that he was silent about for years, and now people have something to say because he finally wants to speak up for himself. And people want you to act when you're famous and people idolize you. It's almost like they form this delusion in their mind that they know you personally. There's this connection, this false sense of connection and understanding that they have as if you're their best friend because they see you on a screen or because they see you every day on a panel or a podcast or even here on YouTube. As a content creator in the social side of YouTube, people begin to think they know you and they get comfortable. So they judge you and critique you unfairly because there's some form of familiarity there. So they feel comfortable with telling you how you should feel. That's the fucking offense on my fucking humanity. How the fuck dare you tell me how I should fucking feel? They're my feelings. And I'm a fucking human, but I'm supposed to respect how you feel. So they don't think about the situation in reverse or even from a third person perspective, really. Not in a fair way because they're too busy judging you as a person. They don't know how to separate the artist or the athlete from the artist. There's a person behind that artist. There's a person behind that athlete with that talent. But all they see of you is that 20 minutes when you're on TV or 20 minutes when you're on a panel, and then they assume they know you and they try to draw these conclusions about your life and psychoanalyze you about who you are as a person. And it's like, wait a minute though, you don't know me. You're too comfortable. So that's kind of the mindset that I was talking about when I did that video. I think it was last summer, about the Will and Jada and August Alsina entanglement thing and how people are always trying to judge celebrity situations as if they know them and things like that. And I always try to speak out about that, like I said, because being bullied growing up and seeing what my family members that are celebrities went through, it just opened my eyes a lot to different things. So I see certain things from a different perspective. But I don't want to speak about it on no one else's platform because I need my own space to say and move how I want to fucking move. I can't deal with people and their intentions. So, and she does deliver with her raps. Facts. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I wanted to highlight that one point. So what I want to get into is the mental health piece of what she said, because she mentioned something about celebrities and the mental health issues that they struggle from this, just the pressure of being a celebrity and things like that, right? Now, they want to tell you how you should respond and how they should feel. And they want to say things like, well, you signed up for it, or you did this, or you did that. I signed up to do a job. I didn't sign up for people to invade or intrude on my privacy. I didn't sign up for people to tell me that I don't have a right to be a human, or, you know what I'm saying? So I've been told in the past that I'm overly defensive. And I'm going to tell you something. When you've been bullied, it can cause a bit of PTSD. So yeah, it probably would make a person that's been bullied a lot overly sensitive or well, yeah, I shouldn't say overly, I should say highly defensive and things like that. Because when you're abused a lot, that's just the normal process of what you go through. But people try to discredit you by shaming you out of feeling and processing your normal human emotions. This is why, and I go back to the point, you have a culture of dudes in the Black manosphere that are shaming people when they start their sentences with "I feel." But then if you turn around and slap them in the face unprovoked, they're going to get upset and curse you out and want to fight you and shoot you. But you're not supposed to have feelings, though. So I'm not supposed to have feelings, but I'm a human being, though. Something that's very normal that humans do. Because what I see a lot is people, they want you to treat them like human. They want you to respect them, respect when they're angry, you know, acknowledge them as a human. But when it comes to you, right, they're supposed to just get away with doing everything. And this is why I think it's so important and why I'm so passionate about this topic, for people to stand up for themselves. Because when you go a long time with being quiet and I won't say necessarily being a pushover, but not really having a voice, once you do finally start having a voice, it's going to shock people. And they're going to be like, you have no right and you shouldn't say this and you shouldn't say that, because they're so used to you not saying anything. So by all means necessary, say what the fuck you have to say to defend yourself. I don't give a fuck what it's about. If you need to speak up for yourself or defend yourself, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, and you can't tell people how they should feel, how they should respond, what they can and can't say, because you're not them. And 9 times out of 10, if you were in their shoes, you probably wouldn't even agree with your own advice anyway. If you're telling them how they should feel, think, or speak or whatever, when they're the one that's being bullied or harassed or, you know, unfairly judged or critiqued or whatever. So yeah, if a person, the next time someone tells you, oh, you're being sensitive or oh, you're being defensive, if you are, so fucking what? You're a fucking human being and you're allowed to be defensive. You should be defensive because you should defend yourself, period. But maybe you went through something. Maybe something happened to you when you were younger, or you had an abusive sibling. So now, and you held it in all that time. So now you corrected it in therapy. But a lot of times when we experience trauma, we may heal from the trauma, but we still have to deal with the symptoms and side effects from the trauma that happened to us. You get what I'm saying? So a symptom or a side effect of that trauma may be you being defensive or a highly defensive person. But you're not wrong for that. You should defend yourself. Because I've learned that by being silent, it gives people permission to pounce on you. And if you don't stand up for yourself, a lot of times people take that as a sign of weakness, and they try to, once you do, you know, decide to stand up for yourself, they try to justify their bullying by saying, well, you never said anything before. So what? So fucking what? It's my voice. You didn't give it to me, so you can't tell me how to use it, period. You know? Yes, a woman has to move defensively. Absolutely, Queen of the South. I definitely completely agree with that 100%. A woman has to move defensively, because one thing about women, people always assume that, people make assumptions when they see a woman that she's vulnerable because she's a woman, and they think that they may see a woman and see that she's maybe short, or she has a small frame, or she has a tiny voice or whatever. And so they'll assume that she's not a defensive person, or she doesn't have any strategy and things like that. They make assumptions, and it's like, that's suicide. To me, that's suicide right there, because you don't know what she's been through. You don't know maybe the training she has. You don't know what she's capable of at the end of the day. All you see is this petite person over here, and your thinking is, oh, I can get over on her because look at her stature. Not realizing that she's military trained, and she retained all of that knowledge, and she has experience in intelligence, and she maybe went to war and things like that. You don't know a person's life story. So you can never go off of judging someone by their cover alone, because you don't know that person's life story. So the shaming language and all that, you know, shaming people for saying shit like I feel and, you know, things like that. All right, motherfucker. Let somebody walk up to you and slap you in the face, or throw a drink in your face or something. You're gonna have a fucking visceral reaction to that. So you telling me you shouldn't feel? Because by your definition and by what all these dudes in the manosphere are saying, I feel, and shaming women and even other men for they saying things like I feel. Why is there such a stigma, right, surrounding that term at the beginning of a sentence? I feel. When did that culture start? Because all it is at the end of the day is people trying to shame you out of your opinion or your belief or your philosophy. That's all it is. So because a person has feelings or they're emotional, they can't be logical at the same time. Because I hear people saying that about women too. Oh yeah, women are so emotional. They can't think logically and this and that. Listen, men are emotional too. Fuck with a man and his money and see how the fuck he responds. He gonna be ready to shoot you, your mama, and your crew too if you fuck with his money. So yeah, men are emotional too. They're humans too. They get emotional fucking too. So I don't think that all this logical and emotional and this and that and you gotta be one and you can't be the all that is bullshit. Because at the end of the day, every fucking body is layered. There's some things that the next person gets emotional about, the next person may not get emotional about. And people are just layered. I hate that we have so many people in this fucking space, right? That they're so simple-minded that they try to simplify situations based on things that aren't real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so because this person is emotional or they have a reaction to something, that means that they can't maintain their bearing and move in a logical manner. Like, to me, that's unfair. But then they'll turn around and say some shit like, don't fuck with my money, or don't fucking call me a bitch, or don't call me that. I'm a man. So yeah, nigga, you feel too. You feel too. You have feelings too. Because all of that, trying to suppress your emotions and suppress this and suppress that. I'm not saying you shouldn't control. Of course, you should control them. But when you're the kind of person that's sitting up here denying yourself of humanity and internalizing your emotions and not allowing yourself to feel, that's the very thing that leads to mental illness. When you hold things in, and now we have a culture of people online shaming other people for having basic human processes, like crying or getting angry. I remember I was on a panel and I broke out in tears one time because I saw that there was a guy he was in pain, he was hurting, and he was drinking, and you could see the pain in his eyes. And I started crying because it's almost like I could feel what he was feeling, and it just made me cry. And so I had this other guy that was on the panel that was basically shaming me. He even called me a bitch for basically showing empathy and understanding towards another guy that was going through something. But then if you turn around and disrespect them, they'll have a visceral reaction and response and be ready to curse you the fuck out because you called them out of their fucking name. So basically you want me to look at you as a human, but you don't want to see me as a human. Gotcha. So that's what we're dealing with here. All right. What other point? Because I want to share another excerpt that I took. Now, there's one more point also that I wanted to make. Yes, Queen of the South, empathy. Yeah, exactly. You better not say nothing about them. You better not call them a bitch. You better not call them gay. You damn sure better not talk shit about their material possessions because, honey, they gonna come for your neck. Okay. But before I move on, there's one more point that I want to make about the different ways that people try to stigmatize you or stigmatize, mental health and things. I was dating this guy, and it's so ironic because he was a YouTuber. He's no longer a YouTuber, but he was a YouTuber. And I've shared my story about what happened to me when I was in the military, and I went into detail on my channel about how it affected me, and how I was sick, and there was a point where I couldn't even take care of myself because I was so sick. I was just mentally drained from the military, and I suffer from bipolar depression. And so I had to have intensive therapy, and there was even a point where I had to take psych meds to cope and to deal and to restabilize myself mentally, to mentally restabilize. So I'm dating this guy, and you know how like you see someone on a panel, or you see someone in a chat room, they'll be like, oh, you need therapy. Oh, you need this. Oh, you need that. You need to go see a therapist, or you need a psychologist. Oh, I have one. Do you have one? That's the question. So I'm dating this guy, and he found, at the time I was taking psych meds for bipolar depression and PTSD. And so he sees the medicine. He somehow saw the medicine. I'm not going to get into detail, but he texts his friend, and I know this because his friend, I'm just using this real life example to prove my point of how there's a stigma and people will shame you. So I'm in therapy. I'm correcting my issues. I'm dealing with my trauma. And he texts his friend, and instead of protecting my information, instead of showing me empathy as a human and courtesy to protect my privacy, he runs and tells people on YouTube she's crazy. She takes psych meds. She's in therapy. Well, she's doing the right thing. If she's on psych meds, hopefully she stays on them if she needs them and takes them. If she's in therapy, hopefully she will stay in therapy and get something out of it and begin to heal. Instead of understanding that and seeing it from that point of view, he used that information to weaponize it against me. Now, how silly and goofy does that shit look? You tell someone that they need help, they go get the help, and you try to persecute them for getting the help that they need, that you claim that they need. No, motherfucker, I think you are more in need of psych meds and a therapist than me, because what person in their right fucking mind would think it's okay to persecute someone and ridicule someone for getting help that they need, for being a responsible adult? Because, you know, if someone breaks an arm or if someone gets in a car accident, you're going to go to the hospital to get treated for it, right? Okay, so if you know that you're not sleeping and you're suffering from insomnia, why would you ignore that and not go see a mental health professional to deal with that? It's the same thing. If I'm having too much anxiety and I can't sleep and I haven't slept in 3 days, I'm going to go to see triage, because I'm not fixing to have another episode of psychosis. That's what sleep deprivation leads to. That's what ignoring your mental health will lead to. Other mental health issues, other things in areas of your health being affected because you can't fucking think straight. And I see this shit on YouTube. It's like you want to fucking persecute someone and use their situation to mock them and make fun of them. But you're the silly one because they're doing what they're supposed to do. What are you doing, though? Because you're clearly the one with the issue if you're doing that type of shit. So on Black YouTube, I see this, and it makes me think, like, how many people really do want to sit and have these conversations about mental health and mental health awareness and things like that? Because it's more than just a month. It's a stigma, I think, that people need to break and burn, because you don't have to speak out about it publicly, but I have had people email me and tell me, Neon, your stream that you just had about mental health helped me and gave me the courage to go to the doctor and seek help. Thank you for that stream. You don't have to be embarrassed. And if you are embarrassed, okay, fine. But it's normal. Don't think that there's something wrong with you, or you can't heal, or whatever it is that you went through, and however you're dealing with it emotionally and mentally. Understand that it's a part of being human, and nobody is exempt from the human experience. I don't give a fuck how much money you have. I don't give a fuck how rich you are, how many friends you have, how many people in high places. Nobody is exempt from being fucking human. So I just wanted to make that other point about the stigma and share my experience with that fucking pebble brain idiot that I was dealing with, because he thought that it would be a good idea to go around telling people, oh, well, first of all, you're not exposing nothing that I haven't already talked about. I talked about it on my channel. So what are you really exposing? The only thing you're exposing is your stupidity and lack of intelligence. That's what you're doing. So I'm going to go on to the next excerpt, and I'm going to share my commentary about that particular excerpt, because I definitely want to get into this. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for holding it down in the chat. Queen in the South, TZ Frank, what's up? AV Media, what's up? I really appreciate you all for being here. Yes, exactly. We see it every day on YouTube. And the reason why I want the behavior to be called out more is because more people want to talk about it, but they don't. And I even get people that email me and they talk to me about it because they don't think it's going to get support. I mean, I don't care if one person hear it or 2 people hear it. I only have like 5 people in the chat. I don't care if one person is here. I don't care if I'm the only person streaming and the only person. I'm going to say it because I know they're going to come back later and watch it. And I know this because people steal from and plagiarize my content on a daily basis, period. So, if you're thinking about doing it, or if you feel that it can be helpful to someone, it can. Because people email me all the time, and I don't even have a big platform. But it's little things like that that let me know, I'm doing the right thing. So anyway, let's get into the second excerpt.
It's privilege.
Fam, Nicki has had the fucking luxury.
See, and I'm so fucking glad you said it. And that's why, because people are so secretly envious of people who they think have the luxury of this and this and that they think, oh, who cares if you get bullied? Who cares if this and that happens to you? Who cares? Because guess what? You have this and you have that. So it's okay.
Well, that's what they say.
It's okay, but it's not. You're dealing with a human fucking being and you think it's fucking funny?
No.
And
I don't
you?
think any of this shit is funny.
And you?
Nikki, I was talking about
You and your privilege?
I was talking about your point of the
Fuck
perception
outta here.
of people
Fuck
just
outta
running
here,
with the
nigga.
wave on social.
Y'all. How many times have we seen people and their sensitivities get brushed to the side because of some sort of imagined privilege or that people think that they have? I'll give an example. I'll use YouTube as an example, and then I'll use another example of something I saw offline. I'll give you an example of the wildfires in California. There are millions of people that have lost their houses, their material possessions, and had to start from scratch from those wildfires in California. I was having a conversation with somebody about it, and they said, who gives a fuck about those people? They're rich anyway. They have money. Who cares? And I said to myself, so that doesn't mean they're human? Because they have money or because they're wealthy and their houses got destroyed by a wildfire, that means that no one should care or no one should see them as human? That's what that means? But if it happened to you and you lost all your shit, you want somebody to be understanding and empathy towards you, though, right? If it was you, though, right? I'll give you an example of something I saw on YouTube, right here on this very platform. And this is no knock on the divested community spaces. Some of those divested channels I listen to, and some of them make a lot of great points and stuff. Some of them I think are toxic as hell. But this was back when I was listening to one of the toxic channels. I didn't know nothing about this channel. I had just subscribed to it, and I just wanted to hear what was being said. And I thought it was kind of interesting, some of the content. So I heard them, having a conversation about colorism and light-skinned chicks versus dark-skinned chicks and this and that. And the topic of mental illness came up and the issues that light-skinned women face, as if dark-skinned women don't go through mental issues as well. So basically, the gist of the conversation was basically the content creator was saying, no one should give a fuck about what light-skinned women go through because they have light-skin privilege. Or they have a privilege over us, so, they don't deserve empathy. That's an example. And this is why I made the point earlier about how people will see you in some perceived privilege that you have, whether it be being able to just draw in a crowd because of your personality. It could be something innate. It could be something that you inherited. It could be the fact that you were just born a certain way with a certain nose, or, like I said earlier, a personality. Something you can't buy, something that's innate to you that will make people have a morbid envy, jealousy, and hate towards you. So because of that, especially with celebrities. I see this a lot with celebrities. People already don't see them as humans, but it's like people will whatever reason it is that they may be jealous of you, people will use that to justify you not being deserving of empathy. And how fucked up is that? Like, has anyone ever like experienced that? Because I see that a lot in conversations right here on YouTube. And that's something that I not only see on YouTube, but as I just explained about the wildfires in California, there are people that will look at a person and be like, oh, he's handsome. He don't have issues with women, or he don't go through nothing. Or, oh, she's pretty. She ain't got no problems. She got pretty girl privilege. And maybe she's suffering from something, but people don't want to be empathetic towards her because they're too caught up in their fucking envy of her looks. Of something that she was born with, but she has no fucking control over. People don't get to decide who their parents are. They don't get to decide their hair color, their skin texture when they're born. You're born and that's it. That's the end of the story. You deal with it and you live with it, or you die, or you kill yourself, or whatever, period, right? So you want people, because I see it happen to guys all the time. Maybe he's a bodybuilder. One of my former trainers, he went through it. He was he's an ex-Marine veteran. He's a military veteran. He was in the Marines, and he's chiseled from head to toe. So we were at a Hell and Farewell, and he was sharing this experience that he went through in the modeling industry, and how, you know, they have colorism in the modeling industry, even with the men or whatever. And there were some women at the table and other guys that were basically, they brushed off his experience and diminished his experience because he's so handsome and they think he just got it and he don't have no issues. And the other men at the table, their envy was even coming through because of the little brash comments and insensitive shit that they were saying too. But it's like, so because he has an asset of some sort that you feel gives him some sort of privilege, let's say it does give him privilege. At the end of the day, he's still a fucking human being. Let me replay that clip. Let me replay it.
Fam, Nicki has had the fucking luxury.
See, and I'm so fucking glad you said it. And that's why, because people are so secretly envious of people who they think have the luxury of this and that they think, oh, who cares if you get bullied? Who cares if this and that happens to you? Who cares? Because guess what? You have this and you have that. So it's okay.
Well, that's what they say.
It's okay, but it's not. You're dealing with a human fucking being and you think it's fucking funny?
No.
And
I don't
you?
think any of this shit is funny.
And you?
Nikki, I was talking about
you and your privilege?
I was talking about your point of the perception of people just running with
the
wave on social.
Yeah. Let me just say something real quick. Nicki Minaj looked like she was about to straight Dragon Ball Z this dude. If y'all could go back and just look at the interview, she gave me chills the whole time. Like, you know how, like, when black women speaking with that passion, our passion is a different type of passion. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's that passion where you feel like you're in trouble and you ain't even do shit. And it's like, don't fuck with her. Don't fuck with her. Don't get comfortable. Because I think sometimes with these interviews, it's a celebrity and you have people, podcasters and interviewers, but people get too comfortable. And that's what I'm talking about. People will make little snide remarks and let little things slip out. And it's like, did you really just fucking say that? Yeah, I think you're getting too comfortable. And that was, to me, a memorable pivot in that interview because she went off. If you could see her body language, if you could see her facial expression, just the way she expressed that through her body language was enough to let you know she was not, fucking around. So what's up, Gemstone? What's up, Don Gordito? Primetime VA. What's up, chat room? Hey, y'all. Thank you for joining me. If you're just now tuning in, I'm just sitting here, like, giving my thoughts and commentary about an interview from 2019 where Joe Budden had Nicki Minaj on his podcast, and I'm just kind of giving my thoughts and ideas about some of the things that were said and some of the things that happened during that interview. And hopefully somebody can take something from it, because this to me is not gender exclusive, but I especially wanted to talk about the gender related issue when it comes to black women and this whole strong black woman thing and everything like that. I mean, because I've been through the same thing too. And like I said, I'm going to be all over the place while I talk because that's just how I choose to communicate right now. And I'm hella nervous. I haven't streamed in a while, but, yeah, like I was saying, I mean, I just think that I really, thank you, Gemstone. Best wishes for you too. But yeah, I think that when a person is, you look at them on the outside, why do people have to measure our stability based on our socioeconomic background? What if that person has it all together and they may be, 7-8 figures or whatever annual income, but what if they're struggling with something on the inside that no one can see, like an invisible cancer? Like when I say invisible cancer, I'm speaking about mental illness. And I make that point because even men can relate to this. You're expected to suck it up because you're a man, and men aren't supposed to have emotions. That's why I don't understand in the black manosphere how you have men that are shaming other men and women for saying I feel before the beginning of a sentence when society has placed your needs as a man on the back burner because men aren't allowed to have emotions and feelings and things like that, right? So why do you further that but then complain about it at the same time? You complain that men aren't allowed to feel, men aren't allowed to do this and do that and have emotions and cry and stuff. And you say, oh, you a weak punk ass nigga because you crying. But then you sit around and further perpetuate that when a man is on the panel sharing a story or just simply talking and he says, I feel. And you want to persecute him for saying, I feel before a sentence. He feels, okay, he's supposed to. He's a fucking human. Hopefully he feels. And he's not a fucking sociopath like some of you. So he's wrong for feeling. He looks weak. Because I'm going to tell you something. I know some men that they're not ashamed to cry, but they will fuck you up if you fuck with their family, their money, or their girl. Period. So just because a person is crying or they're not embarrassed to be emotional, don't use that to underestimate them, to think that they're weak or they're a punk. Because the same way that y'all shame, women, it's called women too emotional, it's the same thing with women. I see other women shaming women in certain male spaces, male dominated spaces, that is, because they're in such desperate need for male validation. They want to use that term too. You feel too much. Oh, you're emotional, as if you're not supposed to be fucking emotional. You're fucking human, and being emotional is normal. So I don't think people should allow someone to guilt you or shame you or whatever you for going through a basic process as being a fucking human being. That's not okay with me. And that really just grinds my fucking gears, honestly. One woman I dealt with told me that inside I knew she was right, but outside we look fearless. You don't feel, you are not human. And that's just so sad. That's just so sad because this is why I brought this up, because I want men to even see that that's a dangerous mindset, because we live in a current society where it's normal to brush the mental health concerns of men to the side because they're expected to suck it up and not hurt, or not, even if they go through trauma, they're expected to just be bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? They're expected to be bulletproof. And so when I see that on platforms, I'm like, see, y'all want people to be compassionate and understanding towards things that affect men, but y'all aren't even understanding and compassionate towards each other, especially when you're shaming someone for saying I feel before the beginning of a sentence. When did that happen? When did that even start? Because you want people to take your emotional needs as a man seriously, but you sit up on social media and you shame and bash other men for either crying or feeling or having emotions when they're supposed to. But it's healthy to have emotions. It's healthy to process things and not hold it in, because holding it in is what furthers the issue. And it can lead to mental illness when you hold and internalize things, when you hold it in. So when did that start? A shout out to Ron314. So when did that start? So, I mean, all this, the shaming culture, and to me, like, especially when it comes to Black people, I think we need to really, like, you don't have to do it on a public platform or join a panel or anything like that. I mean, if you choose to, fine. But I think people need to really reflect when it comes to that, because you can be a contributing factor to somebody else's issues that they're having, because we know how powerful social media can be. We know as influencers how powerful our platforms are and our voices are. And especially being that we live in a digital era, and more people are spending more time online because the world has just shifted, and that's just how it is. So I think people should really reflect, because you may look at this person and they may look macho on the outside, or she may look like she got it together. You know, she's a boss lady, and she has her mansion in the hill and her this and her that, and she's, you know, a licensed professional and everything like that. But these people go through things too. Oh, he's famous. He don't go through nothing. So what? He's still a fucking human being. So their experience as a human should be discounted because of their physical attributes, or because of their money, or because of their success with women, or this or that. I think people need to really reflect and look at some deeper issues when it comes to the things that people go through. And just because you're an adult does not mean that you can't be bullied. It doesn't mean you can't be stalked and harassed. It doesn't mean that you can't be cyber stalked and harassed and targeted. You know, adults are adults, and we process things. We're adults, but that doesn't mean that we still don't go through these type of these type of things, and it can be traumatic to someone, especially when it's unprovoked and you know you haven't bothered anyone, you haven't done anything to anyone, and you're just being targeted because you're breathing, basically, or because you're in someone's chat, or because you have a certain opinion. Like what are you supposed to not do? You're supposed to not have a voice. And I think, you know, this is why I said the whole issue with Kwame Brown, you're damned if you speak up, you're damned if you stay silent. I mean, look at the situation that happened with me. I hadn't even spoke out. And when I say that situation, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? That situation with that other YouTuber, I'm not going to rehash that or go into that, but I hadn't even spoke out about that. And people had already started forming a hate brigades against Neon. I hadn't even spoke out. So people had something to say before I even spoke out. Then when I did speak out, it was too much for people. They had something to say about that too. So if you are a public figure, or if you're not, or whatever, if you're, in school, or if, you know, a home setting with your family, a more private, intimate setting, I don't care who you are or what the situation may be. You have a right to defend yourself and stand up for yourself, period. And if it's too much for people, then fuck them. Fuck them. Because whether you speak up or whether you keep your mouth shut, people are still going to always have something to say about that. But I will say this, the longer that you take to speak up for yourself, the more offended people are going to be when you finally do speak up for yourself. Because people feel, yes, they feel that they have a right to dictate to you how you should express yourself, and when you should express yourself, and who you shouldn't offend or who you should not offend, or this or that. Speak up for yourself and defend yourself, because it's okay. And they didn't give you the voice. They didn't give you that voice. The main people that want to persecute you are the people that if something happened to you, or if something is going on with you behind the scene and they happen to find out, they're not going to give a shit about you no way. You want to know why? Because to them, you're not a fucking human, because you're an entertainer. And they don't see your human side. They just see you as an entertainer, or as an athlete, or as an artist, or whatever. They don't give a shit about your highs and lows, or what you go through when the camera is off. They don't give a fuck about that. So their opinion does not count. And it especially doesn't count because I don't even think they would give themselves permission to be human, or to stand up for themselves. And I'll say this, they would expect for people to understand if they wanted to defend themselves. I'll say it like that. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, people would have a quick change of heart. If all of us could switch shoes right now, I guarantee you, when it comes to these public smear campaigns and these people that are so involved with social media that they forget the human side of things. If the roles were reversed, and these people that are judging you, because I'm gonna tell you, there was a portion in that interview where Nicki Minaj even pointed out the fact that it's easy for them to critique and judge because it's not them. And most of the people, speaking about social YouTube, most of the people that are making critiques and making judgments, they don't even have content on their channel. They don't show their fucking face. Their avatar is an inanimate object or a fucking cartoon character. So the main people who got the most shit to say, they have nothing. They don't have no work to prove anything. They don't have no, catalog of content that they've been able to stand to show the philosophies and the core principles and values that they stand on. Most of people are followers, because when you're a person who's not afraid to be the only person in the room wearing lime green or saying no, it sounds like a vulnerable position, but it's actually a very powerful position. A very powerful position, because it's powerful. Why? Because for yourself. That is true freedom. And a lot of people don't want that freedom because it requires independence. You have to be independent in your thinking and in your thought when you choose to follow your own path and really follow your own philosophy instead of being a fucking follower. Most of these people are followers. And that's just the fucking truth. That's just how it is. That's just the fucking truth. And I'm always going to say that. And I've said the same thing repeatedly over and over and over since last summer. So to the guys, the lone wolves, to the women, the lone stars. And by the way, I am the first person who used that term lone star to describe myself in this space. I did that last summer. So if you see somebody else doing that, yeah, they got it from me. They heard it from me. I'm the lone star. I call the women the lone stars, and I call the men the lone wolves. Those men and women that are real free, independent thinkers. That's what I refer to them as. Period. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. This was just a rant. This was all over the place. That's exactly how I wanted it to be. But I wanted to come here to expound on this and give my thoughts and opinions about this, because I'm actually happy to see more interviews of megastars and celebrities speak out about some of the very things that we go through, even as small content creators. We're not even, because I've had a slight, I haven't had a direct interaction with Nicki Minaj, but I'll share something. You know what? I'm not gonna share that. I'm not gonna share that because that's gonna, people are gonna take that and run with it. I'm not even gonna share that. But yeah, I'm happy to see more celebrities speaking out about the bullying and stuff that they go through, because they're humans too. And a lot of the very things, I actually just came across this interview maybe 2 weeks ago. I didn't even know that this interview took place. I think I remember someone doing, I don't know if it was Paris or if it was Cynthia, but I think I remember somebody doing a live stream about the things that he was saying about her and things like that. And shit. So I saw a video that somebody uploaded as an excerpt from this particular interview, and it made me want to watch the entire interview. So when I went back and I watched it and I heard her speaking about, mental illness and the things that, celebrities go through and her experience with being bullied and stuff, I was like, hell, I can relate a little bit maybe I should speak about this and use it as content to point out dysfunctional behavior. Because my video that I uploaded, where I used the Beyonce's excerpt. In that video, I said that I was going to keep speaking out about the dysfunction and toxic behavior in this space. But I haven't been able to because I've just been, busy, having a life or whatever. But I wanted to use the excerpt. And the reason why I think it's important to use stars and mega stars and celebrities and maybe in athletes too and stuff like that, people who are huge public figures, because they agree. They're saying the same thing that a lot of us on YouTube have been saying. When you look at content creators that talk about mental health, wellness, and bullying and cyber stalking and harassment, these celebrities are saying this. They've been saying the same shit. But y'all know me. I'm not into celebrity culture, and I'm not one that follows pop culture like that. But I think I might start because I want to see celebrities speaking about these types of issues. Because people assume that because they're stars, they don't have no problems. They don't go through anything. They don't have any issues or nothing like that, right? Well, yes, they do. You would be surprised about a lot of the things that you probably have in common with the freaking celebrity. So anyway, that concludes the stream. I want to say shout out to the chat room. Thank you, Queen Desau, for holding it down. Thank you. Special thank you to the whoever, Ron314, Gemstone Primetime, Rex Rogers, Don Gordito, AB Media. Who else? Jerry Poor, Josiah. I'm sorry if I miss anyone. TZ Frank. Thank you all for joining me. D-Style Boxing, salute to you. Stream Team Memes, everybody. I hope that y'all continue to have a safe and blessed Memorial Day weekend. I don't really celebrate, but Build a Bunker. Thank you as well. Beretta Ballerina, my day one and my ride or die. Thank you so much. Thank you, Real Deal Financial. Thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you very much. That's going to conclude this stream. I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and I hope you take something from it. With that being said, peace out.